Russell Westbrook, all working out together in Las Vegas. Do you see that, Alex?
Yes, I did. I think James Harden is there, too, because I spotted Harden and CP3 getting in some work together.
All right, so, I mean, we're talking about USA basketball teammates, but I heard somebody, and I thought, makes sense to me, man, because it's all about superstars now recruiting each other and coming together to form new, quote-unquote, super teams. I'm thinking to myself, Russell Westbrook hasn't signed that new extension at OKC. LeBron James been rumored to be wanting to go out to Los Angeles. How about that? Russell Westbrook, LeBron James team up with the Lakers and make a run at somebody. Do you think that might get the attention of the Golden State Warriors? Alex?
Serious question? No.
Okay. Why not? Oh, by the way, you want to throw Paul George in there?
No. Well, now you're off the deep end, Mar. They have enough money for 2 max free agents, not 3.
Well, you never know what listen, somebody's got money for a lot of people. Somebody's willing to take less money. Listen, LeBron's taking a lot of money. You think LeBron would take just a little bit less, a la Dwayne Wade, when the two were teammates with the Miami Heat, to take another run and walk away a champion?
Well, that's one thing, because Chris Bosh signed first, and Dwayne Wade had won the NBA championship already. LeBron hadn't yet done that, but you're telling me he's going to play third fiddle to Paul George and Russell Westbrook? No, that's not where LeBron is at this point in his career.
Third fiddle. I'm just saying
financially, and it's all about perception. For LeBron, he needs to tweet out the right image. He needs to, control his message. And I don't think he'd be able to deal with the message that between him, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, he's paid the least, and he's, the facilitator when the other 2 guys are better scorers. He's not going to want to deal with that.
Yeah, but I disagree with you. I think it helps his image. I think it props him up. All of a sudden, he's like, listen, man, I've done this for a lot of years. I made a lot of money. I don't need the money. I'm doing this because I want to win another championship. Now, all of a sudden, he looks like the good guy. He looks like the mature guy, willing to come together, recruit all the pieces to make another run, make the Lakers prominent again, and walk away with a championship just because he was willing, a la Kevin Durant, for instance, to give up money in order to make this all happen.
So what you're implying is he can restore his image by being a good guy for Paul George and Russell Westbrook after forcing Kyrie Irving out of Cleveland.
Well, I'm saying, listen, you can talk about Paul George and Russell Westbrook, but the bottom line is, when you start looking at his success or lack thereof, to be honest with you, in NBA Finals, I think LeBron would kind of like to go out on an NBA Finals win note, don't you?
Absolutely, he would.
Okay.
I don't think that that trio is going to keep Steph Curry and Kevin Durant up at night. Maybe if Klay Thompson goes in a couple of years, but with the 4 of them on that roster, no way.
Okay, I'm just saying. Listen, we see it all the time now. These guys get together and create these super teams, and it's about who recruits who. Screw the tampering stuff that the NBA has. Adam Silver ought to just throw that in the trash, because the players do it themselves, and then you start seeing a collection of these guys. Oh, let's hang out in Vegas for a while. It's like Banana Boat 2, Las Vegas style. Let's get together and fire up a new team.
Okay, he's never going to live down Banana Boat.
No. Well, hell no. Why should he? Come on. As long as there's sports talk radio, that's never going to happen. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. Thought I'd bring it up. Meanwhile, back to the Cavaliers as they exist presently, with or without Kyrie Irving. Our friend Adrian Wojnarowski, who I think is the best in the NBA, is reporting the Cavaliers have received calls from, I believe it's at least 20 teams. 20 teams have reached out and wanted to know what kind of package it might take in exchange for Kyrie. Okay, among them, the Spurs, Clippers, Suns, Timberwolves, Knicks, and Heat, according to Wojnarowski, have engaged the Cleveland Cavaliers the most. Now, we've been told that the Suns are not going to part with their number 4 overall pick, Josh Jackson. I think that's a good thing. Here's the Heat. Basically, there's a report out that the Heat might be willing to give up Goran Dragic and Justice Winslow for Irving. But then I just saw another report where the Heat's going, nope, we're not really. So I don't know who you're ready to believe here. Here's the deal. Apparently, the Cavaliers would like to get a deal similar to what the Denver Nuggets got when they shipped Carmelo Anthony to the Knicks. Right. The NBA evolves. People get smarter. Now all of a sudden it's like, I don't know about that. Maybe something similar to the Jimmy Butler deal. Maybe something like that. Nobody's going to give the farm away, which is why I think if I'm Dan Gilbert, and this is what I think people in authority, for whatever reason, and listen, Kyrie Irving gave that authority to Dan Gilbert and the Cavaliers when he signed a long-term contract. But I think too often in this society today, when people have some authority, they should say, hey, Kyrie, grow up, dude. You're playing here. Work it out. You're not going anywhere. I mean, to me, that's how you deal with people like this. Listen, this guy won't even return their phone calls. You want to get traded someplace? I don't care where you think you're going, but if you really want to move, don't you think you ought to return the calls of Dan Gilbert and Kobe Altman, the general manager, to engage in how it is you can get moved instead of dropping this bomb, going to China, and then not answering phone calls and being involved at all? That's just immaturity as far as I'm concerned. So if I'm Dan Gilbert, I'm telling him to go pound salt, bro. You're coming back. We expect you at camp. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant, who, by the way, is abroad as well. He's in India right now, trying to grow the popularity of basketball in that country. In fact, Friday, apparently, this Friday, today, he set a Guinness World Record for leading the world's largest basketball lesson. Almost 3,500 Indian children. Of course, this news made it across the oceans. Kevin Durant was asked about Kyrie and the Cavs offseason. Here's his quote. Quote, I really don't care about Kyrie and that situation. I just want guys in this league to be happy where they're playing and have some fun playing ball, end quote. I'm going, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't worry myself either. Seems to be the Cavaliers' problem. 855-3234-NBC. Meanwhile, I wanted to get back to, we touched on this for a minute, but I thought it needed another couple of minutes. LeVar Ball, who apparently is a marketing genius with regard to what he's been able to do for his son Lonzo and his younger sons. Apparently LaMelo, it is LaMelo, isn't it? I think it was LaMelo that was playing in the AAU game. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, LaMelo is, LeVar is coaching one of the AAU teams that his son LaMelo is playing on. And it's been a big draw, big attraction. People are all excited about it. LeVar kind of got sidetracked, I should say, last night. Had an issue with the officiating of a woman official. Got in her grill. She teed him up, as she should have, by the way. And then she was verbally accosted more by LeVar. LeVar pulled his team off the floor and insisted he would not return until she was replaced. And believe it or not, Adidas, who was running this AAU program, this game, actually removed her from the floor. Before I give you my thoughts on that, here's LeVar after the game.
I get that she's trying to break into the refereeing thing, but just giving texts and calling fouls, that's no way to do it. I know what she's trying to say. I gave him a check. I'm strong. That ain't got nothing to do with it. Just call the game. If you're going to be qualified, you better be in shape and you better know the game. And she's bad on both of them. She's not in shape. She's not calling the game right. And she don't understand. So now she's trying to make a name for herself. So she's walking around like, I'm the only woman in here. Yeah, we get it. I don't care if you're a woman or a man or whatever. Just be good at what you do.
There you go. He doesn't care that she's a woman, but on the floor, he told her specifically to stay in her lane. By the way, this is not the first time that LeVar has made comments like that toward women. First of all, it's not within his pay grade, by the way, to determine whether or not she's calling the game correctly or not. He should not be pointing out whether or not he believes she's in shape or not, because, LeVar, you're not in shape. By the way, you expect some clownish remarks and crazy things to be done by LeVar Ball. I get that. I don't want him, Alex and I have talked about having him on this show. I don't care to have him on this show. I really don't. Because he's not going to answer questions. He's just going to say ridiculous things. And to me, it's not entertaining anymore. But when you're coaching AAU kids, by the way, and pull that crap and say those things again, and have Adidas back him up and remove this official from the game and replace her is ridiculous. By the way, he got teed up again from another official and got run in this game. To me, that's not what we should be showing our kids, the ones on the floor, the ones watching the game itself. Adidas ought to be ashamed of themselves. And listen, the same token, LeVar ought to be ashamed of himself.
That man knows no shame, Mark. I know I'm not breaking news by saying LeVar Ball is being disingenuous or the Big Baller brand is far from being honest, but I remember when the Zo2s came out and the reasoning behind why they're doing what they're doing, why he's making all the noise he can. Mm-hmm. It's because it's for not necessarily for his kids, but I remember the phrase that Lonzo used in particular, it's for the culture. It's for the culture so that we're an independently owned business, so that we're taking care of our family, ourselves. It's for the culture. But spouting that while yelling at officials, making specific comments that he has towards women in the past, and then trying to remove gender out of it, there's a huge disconnect between what he wants to do with his clothing line and what's actually happening out on the basketball court. By the way, they're losing. LaMelo's team is losing. And what does LaMelo do when they're down a dozen points with 2 minutes left to go in the game? He's taking half-court shots because it's for the culture. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Listen, that's not the culture I want to be a part of. I hope a lot of people out there don't want to be a part of that culture either. 855-3234-NBC. By the way, our friends out there at AutoZone have been awarding players who were in the zone in their respective sports all season long. Now it's time for you, the fans, to vote on the AutoZone In the Zone Athlete of the Year, who's truly in the zone all season long. Head on over to NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone today and vote. The nominees are Deshaun Watson, Frank Mason III, Kevin Durant, Sidney Crosby, Matt Ryan, and Aaron Judge. A little bit surprised about this, but Frank Mason III continues to lead the AutoZone In the Zone fan vote. Here's how you can vote again. Just head on over to NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone. That's NBCSportsRadio.com/AutoZone. And then after voting, you can stop into your local AutoZone for the parts, products, and helpful advice you need. Get the job done right. Let's get what you need. Get in the zone. AutoZone. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Major League Baseball trade deadline right around the corner. Are the Dodgers any closer to making a deal for a guy like Yu Darvish after his latest outing? We'll get into that next. You're under center. I'm Mark Malone. This is NBC Sports Radio on the mobile app.